Welcome to the warm-up. I'm Stu Wakeford. We're back, and with me, as always, my bestie, the ambassador Marcus Gale, and the Thomas Frank to our Brian Reamer and Kevin O'Connor. He's the Brentford women's gaffer and my 18th favourite defender of all time at the club. It is, of course, Carly Osborne. How you doing, guys?
I was well until you said I was your 18th favourite. We've only had 18 defenders at the club, didn't we?
Defenders, though, there's a lot. That could be fullbacks as well. That's quite high up, I think.
All right, we'll check the stats of how many defenders we've had first, and then we'll go from there.
Stuff out of a hole here.
Yeah, who's number one?
Always Michael Turner.
I'll give you turns.
Yeah. Do you know who's probably number two?
Who?
Nah, I don't think you get on with him. Darren Powell.
That's great. Nah, Powley was good. He was good.
See, look, we've had some great centre-halves. I'm not going to get into that now. Boys, I missed you. It's been a while, hasn't it?
Has been a while.
It
It's
has.
strange, but we've got to adapt and get on with it.
I think we're still in the window for Happy New Year and Merry Christmas and all that. Did you have a good one?
Yeah,
I did.
Pleasant, quiet, enjoyable. And as I said, just got to make the most of it and try and enjoy the time.
What was your best present?
Yeah.
Oh, best present. Look at. Got a few mugs. Matches me. Bit of clothing. A tracksuit. A nice little tracksuit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gailey's done well.
Yeah.
To be fair, I got looked after this year. Got a few Apple bits. I got a new watch, some AirPods that you can see straight in.
Nice.
Couple of tracksuits. Yeah, the missus done well for me this year. She's done very well.
Everyone's getting tracksuits, eh? The Christmas party, how good was that? The ambassador disgraced himself, didn't he, Carly? Good job, Luke. Cut that bit out.
Of course he did. Rolling back the years, wasn't he? He was rolling back the years.
Fine.
Seriously, though, how amazing was it to see all those legends back together and Carly? It was a great night, wasn't it?
Oh, you must feel good behind that Zoom camera.
I'm not brave because I'm this far away from you, ain't I? I said Martin Adam would come for me, didn't I? And he did.
He did come for you.
He definitely did. It was great to see him on good form as well. Just to rejig his memory a bit with a few stories. But yeah, he was great value, and hopefully the viewers enjoyed seeing him on there with all the other players.
Well, look, both parts are still on YouTube, so if you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's not just something you can watch at Christmas. It's timeless. It's great fun, and the boys were brilliant. And big thanks to everyone that did get involved. Lads, I think this could be us for a while, to be honest. The Zoom ones, lockdown, it's rubbish, isn't it? Carly, you back on the yoga and the blended smoothies and all that stuff?
I'm back on the smoothies, not on the yoga yet, but I will be. But I'm doing a few home workouts and stuff. I'm trying to put a bit of size on, actually. So I've got a few weights, and I'm chucking them around the front room and whatever else. So yeah.
Big news, lads. Thomas Frank, manager of the month. Never in doubt, was it?
Never in doubt. Great form that the team is in, and he's led them into that sort of unbeaten phase, and well deserved. I think the team's kind of shown a lot of character, especially the last few games. So that reflects in that reward that's been given to him.
Do managers care about manager of the month, Carly?
Yeah. I think they would. You know, I think it's nice to be appreciated and obviously, receive accolades and things like that. As you can tell, I've got a couple in the background, but I think he would. But I think with Thomas, he always comes across like he understands it's not just him; it's the team effort, and I think he really puts that across. Whenever he wins something, he always seems to make sure the team are in pictures, and whenever he talks about it, he always talks about it as a we situation rather than an I situation, and that just goes to show testament to him as a man and as a manager.
Yeah, no, he did steer us to a fantastic end to the year. Today we'll be previewing 2021. Also had a little chat with Mads Bech Sørensen, and of course we are going to be looking at that cup semi on Tuesday against Spurs. But first, let's have a little reminder of the season so far.
Emiliano onto Canos. And it comes to Silva! Fabulous strike!
Lads, a great season so far, but this is the business end of the season, as they say. Started with Tuesday night against Spurs in the Carabao Cup semi-final. We did ourselves more than proud, didn't we?
Yeah, I think we gave a good account of ourselves. Just disappointed the first goal went in, but if you took that goal out of it, we was very much in the game and holding our own. So very pleased with that sort of exchange at the start of the match.
Carly?
Yeah, I think it was a measurement for Brentford of where they are at. Obviously, you know, in terms of we all know what we want to do, and that's get promoted. And they did. They gave a really good account of themselves, held their own. I think, you know, disappointments with decisions, which I'm sure we'll talk about. But on a whole, in terms of how Brentford kind of played and what they produced as a football team, I thought it was fantastic.
Look, you touched on it there. I'm gutted that we've got to talk about VAR because it should have been an amazing night to talk about, but I'm going to go for it, right? And a little disclaimer, I hated it before Tuesday. I think I'm allowed to say that. I didn't like it. I thought that World Cup the other year was an absolute shambles. There was just penalties every time someone swung a corner in. I was at a United game, weirdly, last season, and they had it there, and it was just rubbish. So I'm biased. I am biased. But that was the first time we've encountered it. First of all, right, do you think it should have been used in just the semi and the final?
No, I don't think it should have been used. If it's going to be used, put it at the very start of the competition, and everyone knows what they have to deal with. But to bring it into the semi-final and the final, it just brings a different flavour to the occasion. I'm not a fan of VAR anyway. I just think it just takes away too much from the referee. I think referees do need help, but there's got to be more of a sort of human element to it as well. I think we're just going a little bit too far, relying on the computer technology to make those, you know, very, very tight decisions, as we saw.
Being honest, it was quite an uneventful match. Yeah, I come out of it exhausted, like proper exhausted, just because of VAR. We've got to talk about it. The Ivan offside, right? What does he gain out of that? Seriously, like, you could be offside now if you've got Osgood Schlatters. I've got Osgood Schlatters and I've got a lump on my knee that comes out. Because I've got Osgood Schlatters, I could be offside from that. Like, that ain't going to score me. That ain't helping me goal. That's a hindrance. I don't know why I think that. But do you know what I mean? Like, what's going on?
I personally think it should be the body part that actually puts the ball into the back of the net. If that body part is offside, then it's offside. But for Ivan the other night, his glove, his hand is beyond where it should be in this incident, and they've given the hand off. The hand ain't going to score the goal. It's his head, or it's going to be his chest. It might come off his knee, for instance. Let that body part be offside. That makes contact with the ball, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you, Galen.
And then look, we have the other one. I don't want to give this too much time again, but we're going to have to talk about it. We've actually seen the lovely messages exchanged. Everyone realises it was an accident. No one says it wasn't. Obviously, there might be a couple of people on Twitter. I'm sticking my neck on the line here, though. I'm going completely the other way. And I'm probably in a very small minority. I don't even think it's a red card. Slowed down, it looks awful. I get that. But I don't think this is a red.
I kind of lean to it is a red, just based on how it was. When you saw it first view, you thought, it looks the other way. It looks like, you know, Josh has been fouled.
Yeah.
That was my first impression at the game the other night.
Well, mate, if Josh goes right-footed, Højbjerg's late.
He'll be late.
Højbjerg,
I saw it. I thought Højbjerg was late on Josh, and it was a foul the other way. But when you see the replay and you can see the horrific scenes of that as it's slowing down, and you can just see the boot, the face of the boot just coming up. You can see what's going to happen. It's a dangerous situation to put someone in, but it's an accident. These sort of things happen in the game. It was no intent on Josh's part at all, but it was a tough one to watch again. But I think the decision in the end was a right one. Can we appeal it? I'm not sure. But as I said, there was no intent on Josh's part. He's not a tackler anyway. If anyone knows our side, the only person that will really probably tackle in that midfield is either Vitali or Christian Norgard. The rest are total out-and-out ball players that want to use their creativity on the ball, and Josh is one of those. So he's not got that sort of bone in his body. And I think some of the journalism around it and the comments around it didn't help his case at all. I just thought it was a bit lazy by a few individuals that probably never seen Josh apart from the last 2 games.
The other big thing, Jose Mourinho came out after and was pretty gracious, and it was really lovely to hear him say about Brian, saying fair play to him for not going down on the incident where I think it was it Sanchez could have taken him down. Do you think kind of, are you like, why didn't you go down? Why didn't you? Could have got a pen.
I was pleased that he didn't go down because there was minimal contact. It was just a fingerprint on him, if anything.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's enough to justify to throw yourself to the floor. I think he values the game that we all love. He values the entertainment that we want to get from the game as well. So I'm glad he stayed on his feet, picked the right ball out into the right area. Tony just couldn't get enough or get there slightly quicker ahead of that defender to hopefully put us back into the game. But I was just pleased to see that he stayed on his feet in that occasion.
Yeah, it's nice to see. So it's nice to see the honesty. I mean, unfortunately, you don't get rewarded for it often, that's for sure. But for me, I think he's done the right thing, trying to play on and stay on his feet.
I mean, look, we did cause him a few problems, but let's go back. The first goal, it's killed us in it coming that early. When you're playing in these games, you two have both played in games for Brentford against big sides in the Premier League, Everton and Sunderland. Was that the shout in the changing room before the game? Keep it tight that first 20. It's another classic cliche. Yeah,
I think we started the game very well. Tottenham had the lion's share of it, but once we had possession, we looked just as good as Tottenham on the night. I think it's just a little bit uncharacteristic for us in that sort of positioning sense. Ethan normally gets his head on every single cross that comes in there. But it's just the timing of that run from deep, whether it's a lack of communication. But it's a bit disappointing that goal comes in, because I felt if that goal ain't going in, we're more than good enough in this game to kind of hold our own and cause a few problems at the other end, which we did do.
There's a catalogue of things that happen before a goal is scored. And unfortunately, Tottenham's timing of the ball and the cross was fantastic. And Brentford had a few little errors that accumulate to the goal being scored. It's a tough one.
Yeah, you look at the ball, that geezer could put a ball on an ant's nipple. It's unbelievable, isn't it? It's perfect there. Also, on that, I guess Vitali, if he has track, all of a sudden he's facing his own goal, running at pace. It's very hard to clear the header if you're running that goal anyway. But the floodgates then didn't swing open, did they? And that could be something that happens in those games. You see it all the time where you go away to a big club, you lose that early goal. We've seen it before at Chelsea in the FA Cup, I remember. It didn't happen. Do you think that was kind of to do with Mourinho's game management? And we know how good he is at that, but also us, because we did do pretty well and we were breaking the lines a lot, weren't we?
I thought the movement from our wide players was really good on the night with Sergi and Brian. Caused them some problems, rotating from either wing at times, particularly Brian. There was an opportunity for Josh on the edge of the box, and it was only for a brilliant block by Son that's denied him a really good chance on goal. And I think that we just kind of grew into the game. So to go in at 1-0, you thought, you know what, who's the happier manager at the moment? I would have thought Mourinho would have slightly been, obviously going in at the break at 1-0, but it would have given Brentford and Thomas Frank a really good team talk to come out, and we started that second half in good form. We had a really good spell for about 5 or 10 minutes where you thought, you know what, we're really going at them now. If we could have got that goal during that phase, then who knows what would have happened, but the quality shone through with Tottenham in the end.
What can we take from this and the cup run in general now going into the rest of the season?
I think we've got to take kind of, massive pluses and positives from this. You've gone toe-to-toe with Tottenham, who are a team striding for the Premier League title, with some fantastic players. You've managed all of that. You've gone on a fantastic run. I think this should be another step and build more confidence in the squad that we have, and what we can achieve this year. Because if you take how we're playing and how we have played so far, and you keep raising the levels like they keep doing, come the running and the end of the season and that kind of month in April, finishing up leading up to May, we should be in a really good place, ready to kind of go on and achieve what we want to achieve.
They'll bank all these experiences. They'll have a tight finish to this season, and hopefully we're in a position that we can be playing against the likes of Tottenham and the like next year.
Well, one man who had a great game on Tuesday and he kept Harry Kane very quiet was Mads Bech Sørensen. I was lucky to have a chat with him earlier in the week. Here we go! Mads, how's it going? How you doing? You right?
Yeah, not too bad. And you?
Yeah, not bad. Also, happy birthday for tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
How does that work? Do you have to take a cake in?
No, that's not the plan. Maybe some people will be disappointed, but then I can give a cake later.
Look, mate, there's only one place we can start, and that's with the Spurs game. First of all, what an achievement for us to get to the semi-final as it is. But also, on the night, we gave a good account of ourselves, and we can probably count ourselves unlucky, really. How are the boys feeling after the game?
Of course, we're all disappointed when we lose a game, but at the same time, we played a very strong team, and it's just good to have the feeling that we could actually play up against them. So yeah, we were not too disappointed, but it's not funny to lose a game. But the way we played, I think everyone was quite satisfied, and we just needed some small margins. Like if we score that goal, we're totally in the game, and we could potentially take it to extra time.
Yeah. We'll get on to that decision in a bit, but what did Thomas say to you afterwards?
He just said it has been a very good journey, and we did everything we could. We just played against such a strong team, and they just have the quality. But it was a good experience for all of us.
Yeah, and I want to talk about that cup run in general, because for a lot of clubs, a cup run can feel like a bit of a hindrance or be a bit of a distraction. But it didn't seem to be the case for us. What impact has it had on the squad, do you think?
I think it's been really good for all the reserves to play a lot of games. So everyone in the squad has been sharp when they had to play in the championship. So I think it's been good for everyone, and it just gives like a good atmosphere and a lot of confidence when you beat 4 Premier League sides.
That's it. I mean, hell of it. We'll get on to as well your performances against some top strikers in a bit. But looking at the game, we have to talk about the Ivan Toney goal. Is that the first time you've had VAR in a match that you've played in?
Yeah, that's the first time.
So when that happens, because I was obviously going crazy in my living room, and then you have to stop and wait. I imagine if for you guys it's even weirder. What's going through your head when you're waiting to find out what happened?
It's just a strange situation. Like you just score a goal and you're so happy, you celebrate, and then afterwards you realize, it might not be a goal, and then you have to stand there and wait, and the waiting time is so long, and you know when you stand there for 2 or 3 minutes, it's gonna be a tight one. So yeah, it's just a strange feeling.
And is it communicated to you on the pitch why? Because obviously it goes up no goal, but even I was still quite confused after that as to exactly why it wasn't a goal.
To be fair, I didn't hear anything. We just saw no goal, and then we set up for the goal kick, and we tried to play on. And
the other obviously big incident was with Josh. How was he after the game? Because obviously it was a complete accident.
Yeah, obviously he was quite sad, but as you said, it was an accident, and he didn't mean it. So yeah, disappointed, but yeah, it was just unlucky that he slipped, and yeah, I know it looked a bit ugly on the pictures, but that's football sometimes, and he didn't do it on purpose.
And the disallowed goal came at a time we were on top. We were really, really giving them a go. What was said at half time? Because we were in a decent position at that point.
We were still in the game. We were only down 1-0, and we just had to keep the game alive. And if we could score a goal, it would be completely even. So yeah, we just had to do everything we could and give our best.
Yeah, and let's talk about you, mate, because you've man-marked there one of not only the best players in the country, the best strikers in the country, but one of the best strikers in world football, and he's not had a sniff. That must be a pretty proud moment for you.
Yeah. I was very happy after the game, and it was just such a good experience for me to try and play against some of the best players in the world and some of maybe one of the best strikers right now. And I was very satisfied that he didn't got any chances really. So yeah, that was really good.
Is he the best you've played against, would you say?
Yeah, he probably is.
Yeah, because you've come across now Danny Ings, Callum Wilson and Harry Kane. They're three of the best strikers for England. And they've not scored against you yet.
Yeah.
So I was chatting to Carly Osborne, who we do the show with, and when he was at the club, he played Everton and he played against Fellaini and Yakubu. And he said he came out of that match and he learnt more from that game than any training session that he'd ever had.
Yeah,
Is that
I think it has been very good for me and the team in general to play against Premier League teams, just to get the feeling that even though we play in the Championship right now, we can easily play against those teams, and it gives a lot of confidence when you play against some good strikers and you keep them away from goal. And when you build that confidence, you'll see that on the pitch later as well. So yeah, it's just been good for us to play against some of the best teams and players.
Well, that's it. Like we say, three of the best English strikers. What were the differences between them?
Callum Wilson is more deep runner and he'll chase everything very physically, where Harry Kane is more clever. He wants to drop in, dictate the play a bit more, try to hide a little bit in the box to find good positions. So I would say that's probably the biggest difference between them two.
And what about the step up from like a Championship striker to those kind of elite level strikers? Is there a difference? What are the differences between them?
I think it's the cleverness, like the positions they have. It's always hard to look at the ball and know where the striker is. So you have to check your shoulders a lot more. Yeah, I'll probably say that's the biggest difference.
Well, look, you did that. You were checking your shoulders and you kept them all very quiet, mate. I see a lot of the time strikers will talk to defenders. Did any of those guys, did Harry Kane talk to you much during the game?
Yeah, no, not really.
Really, just completely quiet?
Yeah, it was really quiet.
What about after? Because I saw you had a little fist bump with him after the game.
Yeah, we just said well played and good luck for the rest of the season. So we didn't say much to each other, to be fair.
Yeah. Did you try and get a shirt or anything like that?
I've got his shirt at home now. Yeah.
Oh, amazing! That's class.
Yeah.
And look, the cup run itself, we spoke about it. You've been absolutely superb, but also superb in the league, mate. And 16 appearances in all competitions, which is your most in a season so far.
Yeah.
We're approaching the halfway stage of the season. How would you assess your performance so far?
I think I've done well, but that's because I think it's very easy to play for this team. When you get on and if you get on or you start a game, you know what to do and you have a lot of people around you to help you, which makes it so much easier. So it's easy to settle in when you play the games, and I think that's one of the reasons why I've been playing well too.
You talk about the players around you and obviously playing alongside Ethan and Pontus and stuff. And I've seen stuff with Pontus early in the season, him chatting to Kane O'Connor from the B team, obviously passing on some advice. Do Ethan and Pontus do the same with yourself? And what kind of stuff do they talk to you about?
It's just when we're in the game, they always try to help me. So if they see a runner, a guy who's running deep, they will always tell me, and it makes it so much easier when you have someone that communicates to you and try to help you to get into the best position as possible. And when they have told you a few times, then you know, okay, next time maybe I have to drop a little bit before, maybe I have to step a little bit higher, and you can learn a lot from that. So if they just communicate to you, then they'll help you, and then you have to do the same for them, because sometimes they can be out of position as well. But then you just have to tell them what to do. So yeah, I'd say that the communication is very important.
And When you're a young player coming into team, is that a bit nerve-wracking, having to tell someone like Pontus and Ethan what to do?
Of course, when you're young, it's a little bit difficult, but you have to do it, because if you don't tell them there's a runner and they don't see it, we could concede a goal, and it's better to tell them drop or step, and then we don't concede, and then everyone is happy afterwards. So it's always better to tell people what you're seeing and instead of staying quiet.
And as we go into 2021, have you got any goals and personal goals that you've set yourself for this year?
I just hope to play as many games as possible.
Yeah. Well, look, mate, you're absolutely smashing the season, and I really appreciate your time. Top man.
No problem. Thank you.
Lads, we've spoken about Mads a few times. Player, isn't he?
Yeah, very good player. He's got the trust of the manager. He's recovered from that serious injury a couple of seasons back, and he's back to his brilliant best. Well, he's now maturing into his brilliant best, I would say. I know he's just turned 22, but he's got a lot of years to come. But just pleased that he's able to have a run of games where he's consistent and performing well.
Where have you seen most improvement in him?
I think he's grown a lot all round, but I think on the ball he's got a lot better, a lot more confident. His range of passing's changed. He's more comfortable on it. I think also he's starting to develop into a bit more of a leader now. You know, he's starting to demand of people around him, which is something that you need as a centre half, I think. And you can see now he's getting a run of games. His confidence is getting better and better each week, and it's good and nice to see.
Look, big 2021 for him. And let's have a look forward. 2020's done now, thank goodness. Let's not do all that stuff. I'll be right, January. I'll be honest, don't really like it. I don't really like it. We want to keep this cheery, we want to keep it positive. But terrace toast is always the worst time of the year for it, because it's absolutely Baltic. You've got the window. I know people love the window, but maybe I'm scarred by things like the DJ Campbell thing and even Scott Hogan to a degree. Also, it feels like we've had all the fun of Christmas, yet we've still got ages until the end of the fun bit at the end of the season for me. But what about players? Does it matter for players that month? Does that come into it at all?
Yeah, I think it can do, but I think with Brentford, particularly this season, we're kind of more stable in this window. I don't think there's anybody that's going to be looking to leave. Is there anybody looking to come in? I don't think so. Or there's not a need for that to happen this January. I think we've got a very competitive squad, a happy squad, a progressive squad. As I said, the B team players have come in and done very well, and that's going to give them encouragement if they start seeing players coming in at the top end of the club. What does that signal for them? So, as I said, we're in a very healthy condition right now as Brentford. We don't have to worry like a few of our competitors in the league, like Norwich. They've got players that may want to leave this January or at the end of the season. What sort of turbulence is that going to create within their camp? And I think that's why I said Brentford's camp at the moment is very stable and equipped to go through the rest of this campaign in a good fashion.
Well, look, we'll go on to the other teams in a bit. There are obviously fans, unlike myself, that do love the window. I do realise that I've kind of worked out maybe I am a bit of a football dinosaur and a bit in a minority. I seem to hate everything, but I do love football, I promise. Carly, do you agree with that? Do you think we probably don't need to do much? Because a while ago, a lot of people were saying we needed a wide player.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with Gailey 100% now. I don't think there needs to be any kind of ins and outs, really. I think they are in a very stable place. You don't want to upset the apple cart in the position that they're in at the moment, because the squad and the team and everyone around it seems very much, positive and kind of with each other. So you don't really want to start upsetting that as well. So I think Brentford need to kind of stay and continue with what they're doing and let the other people around them deal with their problems, because I think they will. You know, Norwich was mentioned, Swansea as well. You know, I think they're struggling at the moment and needing one or two, lost one. So yeah, I think let those teams kind of have their issues, and I think Brentford just need to keep kind of staying on the same path, staying a little bit under the radar, and doing what they've been doing so far.
Because you boys would have both played no window, right?
Mm.
Was the window there?
No, I've only played with Jan. Yeah, I'm not that old.
Well, you're younger than me.
Hey, well, I am. I had a March window. I'm twice in March.
I think it does have an impact on it. But back in the day when it was like no window for the whole season, and then you just got the deadline day, what was it, like a month or so before the end of the season, you didn't have these crazy months where it disrupts everything, and the prices, I think that's why prices go up as well.
Yeah.
It's a risky month to buy anybody, and you've got to hit the ground running. If you move in January, you've got to hit the ground running. And that's a pressured situation to be in as a player. Yes, you're going to back yourself, but you've still got to, impress your new teammates straight away. You've got to impress your manager, your fans, and as I said, hit that ground running. It's very difficult to do that.
One of you's getting a call now for a deal there, for a move, is it?
It's not me.
That ain't me. It must be you.
Must be you two.
Oh, that's aside me, Jesus. But you mentioned as well earlier, for us, we've got a whole B team, and that's where I think the B team is massive. That they're like the way they're treated as pros. Do you see what I mean? They're another pro team, so it's not like they're youth team players that you're dipping in and out of. These are people playing against senior pros around the country, and I've been listening to a lot of Under the Kosh podcast, and they're talking about John Parkin talks about reserve leagues when they used to play, and he's like, we used to play against senior pros in these reserve leagues, and there'd be money on it, like bonuses, like win bonuses on these reserve leagues. And he was like, you were playing and you were getting experience that you couldn't get now in the under-23s. Do you think this is where our B team really comes into its own? Because we've got a group of 20-odd lads there that have played senior football regularly this season.
Yeah, it does help them in their development. It's a bit different from when I was coming through the ranks. You was playing against men and I was like 16, 17, and it did teach you the harshness of the game. It taught me how to have a better first touch, because if you had a baggy touch, you would get that. You learned pretty quick, but the experiences that you would get back then was, you could be playing against someone that's played, like back then it was the first division. That's coming back from injury, and you're on the same pitch as that person, and you're thinking, wow, I've got some learning to do, but I've had a really good experience playing against that person today. I remember once I played against George Burley. I think he was at Gillingham at the time, at the end of his career, and my manager at the time, Steve Prem, goes, "You're up against it today, son." And I was like, I need to be able to say that to him. That my opponent's up against it. I'm the young one coming up. But those sort of experience will help. And this B team, it is different. They can pick and choose who they play to a degree, and get some valuable experiences. They can play abroad. Well, they was able to play abroad up until, I don't know when, last March. But those sort of things I would have loved to have been part of as a youngster growing through. But it gives them the opportunity now. They've seen the amount of new faces on the first team roster this season, on the bench. It's given them that encouragement, and there's an absolute clear pathway for those B team players now. This
month is obviously going to see the halfway stage. Some big fixtures this month in the league, actually. You got Borough in the Cup on Saturday, but then you go Reading, Luton, Swansea, Wickham all this month. Potentially Bristol City could get thrown in there. Josh out for at least two of those, obviously, with the Cup game as well. So Reading and Luton he's looking at suspended for. Tough month against some decent opposition. Swansea and Reading stick out straight away, I guess. No disrespect to the other two.
Yeah, but I think Brentford are in a very good position, especially off the back of the performance against Spurs. And I think the back-to-back games has done Brentford a lot more. It's done them, it's been better for them because they are rolling in from game to game to game, and the form has just got better and better. So I think they're in a real good place to kind of hit the ground running this January and start picking up them points again.
Where will we start seeing, do you think, the table's kind of taking shape, but it's still really tight from like 12th to kind of our position at the moment in fourth. How long do you reckon end of the month we'll start seeing, right, there's a break, there's a little break, there's a little mini league, there's a little mini league? Yeah, that will come. For us, I think we just got to try and stay unbeaten, continue, start a new run of games to be unbeaten. It's going to be a tough going, but we've got the players to do that. I think the sort of fixtures that we have, as I said, Reading, Luton, Swansea and Wickham, we've got to be looking at a good amount of points out of those 4 games. I don't want to predict any sort of points tally, but remain unbeaten, or start this new sequence of unbeaten games
that will give us a really good footing to go into February, into March, into April, which are like fully loaded months where there's so much to play for. But I think we're going to be in a good position to do that.
That's what I mean. Like after January, it just starts rolling, and you bang, all of a sudden it's proper, innit? What other big dates stick out for you boys?
For me, I think obviously, the last 3 games of the season are going to be massive. Bournemouth, Watford and Bristol City. I think those games are going to be massive. But actually, the games that worry me a little bit more are the 3 before that, which is Preston, Millwall and Cardiff. Those 3 games there are the games that worry me a little bit. They're not the games that you automatically just get up for. Millwall's going to be a difficult one. Cardiff, big and strong as well. Those 2 games there are going to be horrible teams to play against. Preston, to be fair, they put on a good performance when we played them earlier on in the season. So yeah, those games are the 3 that probably worry me a little bit in how Brentford approach those games.
I would look at the month of April. Got some tricky little customers in there. Huddersfield to start it off. You don't know what you're going to get out of Huddersfield. Birmingham, sometimes they're a bit of a sort of banana skin for us. I can't believe how we lost at the start of the season against them. And it's no disrespect to Birmingham, but I just think that was one game you think, hold on, we should be going there and really coming away with those 3 points. We finished that month with, who was it? Cardiff, Bournemouth. We got Millwall again, as Carly's touched on. Some tough customers to get those points and wins against. But I worry about the smaller so-called clubs in the division, the expectation of beating them and then we probably draw against them. I would love that to change as well. So for me, if you can stay unbeaten in April, you've got the final few games. You should know where you are by then. And other teams are going to be dropping off points in April anyway. So if we can stay in a clean bill of health, we'll be in a good position come the end of it.
Easter's always one that, I don't know, it scares me, Easter weekend. I think Easter weekend, like, so much can happen. It's just 2 fixtures, but I always feel like, I remember we lost at Bury, didn't we, one year? And it basically cost us promotion. Like, it seems like a weird month, that month. And like I say, you could win both those games. Leeds basically blew it, didn't they, the other year on Easter weekend against us and Wigan. It's so strange that, like, just 2 matches, for some reason, because they're on a Friday and a Monday, have a big impact. But going back to the last 3 again, that run-in, Bournemouth, Watford, Bristol City. So the 4 teams in those games, us included, you think we'd all have ambitions of getting promoted. I know Bristol City maybe, but Bristol City think they should be up there as well. They might not be there at the moment, but I imagine they'll be looking to get promoted this year, at least be in the playoffs. Is it better to have teams you can take points off? Or would you rather be playing a mid-table team that aren't involved?
I personally think it's better to have teams that you can take points off because you can stop their momentum as long as you perform. But I guess everyone's different. But for me, I think you want to be playing those teams that you can take points off and you can stop their momentum and ultimately keep them where you want to keep them so you can go on and kind of get promoted. That's the aim. So you want to be playing those games. So to have those games right at the end of the season like that, if you put yourself in the right place coming into those last 3 games, you should be excited going into those fixtures.
I'm in for 2021. Come at me, 2021. I'm loving it. And obviously, look, starting off with 2 cup games this season. Borough today at 6 p.m. That game's been selected for broadcast on FA Player. You can sign up for free on their website or download the app on Android or Apple. I'll probably get there a little bit early just to set it up because it is a bit different from iFollow. Well, look, that's it for this week, lads. It's a bit different, but I've still enjoyed it. It's great to see you both. We should get some mates in, shouldn't we? Remember, if you've got anyone that you want to see us try and get on, let us know in the comments below and we'll do our best. Stay safe, everyone. Have a great week and come on then, bees. You Reds!